But just keep in mind the game has changed. What we need and the skills we need to get jobs in tech is different, and that's why you're seeing junior engineers or college graduates even not getting really good jobs. Howdy, folks. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the tech industry and what has happened over the last couple of months to a year. Things are changing rapidly, as they always do, but it does seem like that change is accelerating. And so, how you break into the industry, how you get a job in the industry, what skills you need are also changing very rapidly. And so, I want to talk a little bit about that. Let's get into it. So, this is the tech industry kind of maybe 2 3 years ago, like 2021 2022. Over here, these are skills that you were just expected to have. Like, people weren't gonna necessarily, like, this was on their desired stuff, but they kind of expected that you had this. And that'd be reading, writing, professional communication. Just, and there were others, but this is just an example. So you were expected to be able to read and write and communicate professionally, just to even be kind of considered for a job in tech at all, which is reasonable. Needed, these are skills that if you had them, it was pretty important. Like, you probably wouldn't get an interview without these skills at all. Now, to be fair, 2022, you probably wouldn't get an interview even with these skills, but this was just table stakes. This is what you needed, and that was coding skills, the ability to read and write code, at least knowledge of one language, and some basic algorithms. It wasn't to say you couldn't get a job without these things, but it was going to be really hard, right? You probably know people who got a job without having these skills, but yeah, again, it was very difficult to do. Desired. So if you had these things, you were interesting. And those of you who've asked me for career advice before, I told you, be interesting, do things that made you interesting, having projects on your resume, that sort of thing. So that'd be advanced algorithms, software design, and multiple languages. If you did those things, you were much more interesting. Companies wanted to talk to you at that point. You still might not get a job, but it was definitely a lot more possible. Now, fast forward to 2025, here's what things look like. Very different. Most importantly, you might notice coding skills, one language, and basic algorithms, those are now just expected. You have to have these things. There's no way around it. Why? Because this is all stuff that AI does now. All these skills are things that AI have taken over. So if you come in and you say, hey, I can read, I can write, I can communicate professionally, I can code in one language, and I know basic algorithms, the hiring manager is going to say, great, so can Claude Code. ChatGPT can do that, right? I'm not going to pay for you to do those things because I can just do that with a $20 a month subscription, and you're going to cost a lot more than $20 a month. That's the issue we're running into now. These things now, the things that before would make you interesting, those are now expected. You're probably not going to get an interview without these. To be fair, that was kind of also true in 2022, 2023, but now it's even more so. You might have had a friend that like got a job without knowing some of this stuff. Now that's going to be much less likely. It's still possible. You still might have people getting in the industry, but it's very rare. So advanced algorithms, software design, multiple languages, those are things that you're going to need to know. Why? Because that means that the jobs that we're starting to create, the jobs are happening is we are no longer writing code. That's not completely true. Like in my job, I still write 100% of the code pretty much. Well, okay, I still write 90% of the code, but that's unusual. And the only reason I can get away with that is I can write code very fast. So if you're getting into the industry now, you're expected to be using, to be able to work with AI, or at least learn to work with AI, which means these are the things that AI can't do very well. These are software design, knowing multiple languages. I mean, AI knows multiple languages, but these are the skills you're going to need to manage the AI code generators. You need to read the code. You need to be able to read the code that it writes, and you need to be able to understand the code it's writing is good. And so that's where this stuff comes in. But you also need to be able to tell it what to write, and that's where software design, algorithms, and knowing the multiple languages comes in. So we're basically having to up level ourselves. Now, we have new skills that, hey, this will make you interesting. Prompt engineering. What the hell is prompt engineering? Well, prompt engineering is basically how do I tell the AI what to do? And there is some nuance to that. It is conversational and natural language, but it's not actually that bright. So if I took someone who is a junior engineer or an intern and I told them, hey, I need you to write this code and I need you to make these changes to it, they have nuance. They can understand what I'm actually talking about. The AI doesn't always understand very well what you actually mean when you're saying these things, which means that's where prompt engineering comes in. Is it's just an extremely high level version of writing code in a way, telling the AI how to work. Deep experience with a framework, this would be like React or Angular or Vue. They want to know that you know the nuts and bolts of this system. Why? Because now you're prompting AI, and the AI technically has that deep experience, but it like makes a lot of mistakes, a lot of little mistakes, a lot of things that are suboptimal, and so you need to be able to spot those. So it's not necessarily that you need to be able to write the code in React. You need to be able to understand how the React framework works so you can make sure the AI is actually doing the right thing. And the ability to work with code generators. So that would be Claude Code, Gemini. I think OpenAI just came out with a code generator, but basically, or Cursor, being able to work in those systems that, again, having these things is not going to preclude you from getting a job. If you don't have these things, you're not out of the running, but they help. This is what makes you interesting at this point. So I'm going to be trying to make some video going forward on a couple of these topics moving forward because this stuff is important, but I think there's enough stuff out there on that, and this is what you need to know now. And this. But to be perfectly honest, I also don't have some of these things, so this is still stuff I'm learning as well. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful, but just keep in mind the game has changed. What we need and the skills we need to get to get jobs in tech is different, and that's why you're seeing junior engineers or college graduates even not getting really good jobs because they don't have all this stuff very well. And the people that are getting the jobs are the mid-level and senior level engineers because this is the stuff that they've trained on. So hope this is helpful. I'll see y'all next time.